tonight? Okay. Anybody have a praise report that they'd like to share before we get started? All right, let's hear it.
And I just want to thank the Lord for healing my body and putting people in place to show me what to do. My shoulder, this that last week, I couldn't even come back my head, couldn't move my arm or anything, and I praise God for having a good week so far. And thank you all for your prayers, and I even had a massage. Sister, if y'all want a massage, get in line, get to see that regular. She'll give you one because she'll break your bones. But that was a starting point, and I thank God for how He taught her, and she was able to come and really help me. And then I went to the doctor, but it's prayers that did. There's all this other stuff, coupled with prayer. It's what helped me. But I thank God for that, and I just want to thank you all for praying for me. Amen.
Amen. Come on, let's give the Lord a praise for that. Amen. Amen. I don't know, but my shoulders started bothering me. It really did. So I don't know if it has something to do with that. I mean, I play tennis, so that's really my favorite form of exercise these days. I used to be young and athletic, so my favorite sport is basketball. I used to play a lot of basketball growing up. I've gotten much older and a lot less athletic, so I don't play basketball anymore. Although every single year, because I love basketball so much, something will happen. Typically, it's like a couple times a year that will pique my interest. I'll watch basketball or see basketball or I'll do something with Evan, and I keep thinking about it. Come back. I want to come back. I want to go back out on the court. And for some reason, Sister Nelson, I mentioned that around my wife. She's like, you don't need to be out playing basketball. If you're broken down, your knees won't fall out of your body. You just don't do it. So, but I keep thinking one of these days I'm going to play basketball. But I play tennis. So I played tennis Tuesday, and while I was hurting, my shoulder was hurting on Tuesday, but I still played tennis. And I couldn't really play. I played today too. It was really hard to play because my shoulder's hurting. But it feels better today than it did yesterday. Hopefully it'll feel better on Friday. I certainly can echo your sentiments by Sister Rankin's massage. She gave me a very good sports massage before the finals of the tennis tournament that I was in, and I won. Amen? So we thank God for that. All right, so we're continuing. I will continue to put a plug in for our devotional material, our daily bread, the word for you today, and the Bible pathway. There were some really good lessons we had in all of those devotional items this past week, which I thought was very good. Of course, we talked about this forgiveness. I talked about that on Sunday. There were a couple times in the Bible, the word for you today, where forgiveness was mentioned. And then, of course, I think we finished a series on anger management, which was very, very good about controlling your anger and being very careful about your anger. So those were all very good as well. Some very good lessons as well in our daily bread. And of course, the Bible pathway, which I talk highly about a lot, and we're continuing it. We're still in the book of Ezekiel in the Bible pathway. I think we're going to finish Ezekiel in the Bible pathway maybe Saturday or Sunday, and then we'll go into the book of Daniel, which is a pretty short book. It's 12 chapters. I think there's 4 days that you get through the book of Daniel, and Daniel's the last of the major prophets. And then you get into the minor prophets, starting with Hosea. The Bible pathway, we will finish the Old Testament in the Bible pathway this month. And then October begins going through the New Testament, and of course, with a lot of emphasis, a lot of time on the Gospel, starting with the Gospel of Matthew. Bible pathway, you read through the Bible chronologically, or you read through the Bible sequentially through the course of the year. So we'll continue with Ezekiel. I know we talked a little bit about Ezekiel on Sunday. I should mention that. I just thought about that. I have started to some degree watching the streaming. I don't know, someone maybe told me to do that, or I don't know why. I started watching the streaming. And so it's interesting, because I've talked to other people before, other ministers, other preachers, and they talked about the importance of watching the streaming. Some very highly successful preachers who minister full time, I've heard that they watch themselves streaming, and they do multiple things. One, they listen to themselves themselves in the message that they deliver, and then they also just turn the sound down and just watch how they move. So I don't know if you noticed on Sunday, I thought my movement was, at least at the beginning, a little different, because one of the things that I noticed, and I used to do this before, when I first started off as a lawyer. I had to go to, they're trying to teach you how to be a lawyer. When I first started as a lawyer, I was a prosecutor, and we went to these training sessions, and I never tried a case before. And I remember they videotaped you giving closing arguments, and opening statements, closing arguments, and examining witnesses. And one of the things I noticed is I should say this now, I never look at it when I preach, but I rock a lot. I always rock. I'm always rocking. I didn't realize that. And when I saw myself when I was a lawyer, I was like, oh my gosh. So because I realized that when I am in the courtroom, if you're talking in the courtroom, I typically will always, most judges are very strict, some of them are stricter than others, about keeping you to the podium. And in federal court, federal judges are appointed by the president, confirmed by the Senate. They're there for life. It's a very prestigious job. State court judges in the state of Florida can be elected, but federal judges are stricter than state court judges. Federal judges have this rule. Typically, when you go to most courtrooms, you have this understanding that you have to stay within arm's length of the podium. Now, some state court judges will allow you to interact more with the jury and approach the jury. I know you guys may have seen Law and Order and these other shows. That's not that. A lot of these judges, and so most lawyers don't venture far away from the podium because they're always afraid of a judge, especially an old school judge. Counsel, you need to return to the lectern. Counsel, you need to return to the podium. So I typically don't, like I do here, here I walk all around. That's because I don't do that on my regular job, on my day job. So, but what I do at work is I lock myself. I always, if you ever saw me, I typically put my foot here to lock my foot in on the inside of the podium to prevent me from leaning, because that's something I picked up when I first started. Well, when I saw the streaming, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm leaning. I keep moving around. So I tried to be a little bit more controlled. I was a little better than I was the Sunday before last, but I wasn't great. The other thing that I noticed, well, first of all, there were 3 parts. I don't know if y'all saw, but there were 3 parts to the streaming. The first 2 parts, my message was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. You know why I say that? Because when you play it back, it goes, eee! So I just said in my mind, well, I was preaching unbelievably, and y'all couldn't hear it, but it was powerful, it was enough, it was incredible. And all I heard was, eee! Man, if you only heard it, it would have been incredible. Part 3, you can hear. Part 3, part 3 is kind of a little bit, because you can actually hear that part. But one of the things I recognize is I'm probably going to have to be a little more deliberate in my speech. More deliberate. Because training to serve in this role. There were schools for prophets, and there's no indication that Ezekiel went to a school for prophets. Yet God called him for this job that he may have felt he was not properly prepared to serve in, but his attitude was, if this is your mission for me at this stage in my life, God, I will accept it and I will do it. And we've talked about this before. I think God has given me this message through my own life experiences and something to reveal to you. God will oftentimes call you for assignments that you do not believe
you are equipped to handle. He will call you for assignments that you do not believe your background prepared you for. Because God often, not always, a lot of times your background will prepare you for the assignment God calls you. But one of the things that's important to understand is frequently your God-given assignment is something that you will not succeed in unless you depend upon God. God wants you to depend upon Him in order to excel at what it is He's called you to do. If you can do it without God, then examine that. So he was called. Now Ezekiel and Jeremiah and Daniel were contemporaries. They all lived and their ministries all somewhat overlapped. But and many of them, Jeremiah and Ezekiel, if you've read these two chapters, you've seen, especially reading Ezekiel, when I've been reading Ezekiel, I don't know about you, but I have this deja vu. Did I just read that? You did just read it. You read virtually the same message when you read the book of Jeremiah. The same message, or similar message, that God gave to Jeremiah, God gave to Ezekiel. What was the difference? Does anybody know what the difference was? Or differences? Anybody know any of the differences? Don't all speak at once. Yes, ma'am. That was very, very close. Let's give her a hand. Amen. That's very good. Thank you for reaching out there. Jeremiah's message was to Judah, but his message was, God gave him his message while he was with those people undergoing the siege in Judah. Jeremiah was never taken into exile. He remained in Judah. And so Jeremiah was given a message that God's going to destroy Judah to the people who were still in Judah. Ezekiel, on the other hand, Ezekiel was one of the approximately 10,000 people from the country of Judah, which were initially exiled over to Babylon. Just for you to understand the chronology of things. The Babylonians initially came to Judah. When they initially came, they didn't completely destroy Jerusalem or completely destroy Judah, but they did inflict some damage upon it. And they took approximately 10,000 people from Judah and took them to Babylon to serve as slaves or being served in exile. Ezekiel was one of the 10,000 people from Judah who was initially exiled to Babylon. While they were in Babylon, there were a number of people who remained in Judah. And remember in the book of Jeremiah how many of the people there kept saying, God's going to turn this situation around, where Judah will not fall, Jerusalem will not fall. God's going to. They had these false prophets that Jeremiah constantly had to battle because they kept false message that God was not going to destroy Judah. And God said, that's not my message. You have engaged in simple practices for a long period of time, so I am going to bring about your destruction. I am going to destroy Jerusalem. I am going to destroy the temple. And anyone telling you otherwise is lying to you. And that was the message God gave to Jeremiah, to the people who were in Judah. He gave that same message to Ezekiel to share with the captives in Babylonia. Because the people in Babylon were saying, we will go back. God will destroy Jerusalem. God will destroy Judah. God will bring us back. And he's saying, yeah, he will. Not just 70 years. God's going to destroy Jerusalem. God is going to destroy Judah. He's going to judge the people for their wickedness. So they were given similar messages, but they did have different audiences. Jeremiah to the people who were in Judah before the destruction of Judah and Jerusalem, and Ezekiel to those exiles who were in Babylon. And that's why you see in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, he says, hey, now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river Chebar, that the heavens were opened and I saw visions of God. And as you see, in the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity, because the king was taken captive along with some of the initial 10,000 people, which included Ezekiel. Now, some of you real scholars, why do you think Ezekiel was taken? Why was Ezekiel taken? Go ahead. Yes, remember what the Babylonians did is when they would invade the country, they would take the leaders and the nobles and the wealthy people. They would take them into exile. With Ezekiel being a priest and a spiritual leader, he would be one of the people that it would make sense for them to take into exile. They left all the poor people and the people that didn't own property, they left all those in Judah. But Ezekiel was one of the people that they initially took captive because he was a priest. Because when he left Judah, he was a priest, or trained to be a priest. Alright? So in the book of Ezekiel, the first 24 chapters. My phone somewhere? I don't think I sat down with that. Okay. And the first, I have some notes on my phone, but I'm going to do it. First 24 chapters. Ezekiel is given a message from God about how the Babylonians would be God's instrument in destroying Judah, Jerusalem, the temple, and the people. Because God was executing his judgment against the wickedness of the people. And that's the first 24 chapters of the book of Ezekiel. Starting in chapter 25, Ezekiel is given a different message. His message is a message against 7 foreign nations which surrounded Judah. So let's turn to chapter 25 of the book of Ezekiel. I think we'll stop. We're going to just go through a few things and then stop at chapter 34 tonight. Chapter 25, verse 1. You have that? All right, let's read verse 1. All right, this is Ezekiel talking. Verse 2. Set thy face against the Ammonites and prophesy against them. Who knows anything about the Ammonites? This is real deep Bible study here. See the real Bible scholars. Who knows anything about the Ammonites? Who knows anything about the Ammonites? Thank you, sister. Thank you, Lady Jean, for that great insight. Anybody else? Anybody else? Somebody say something? I didn't hear anything. Y'all talking slow. I know. All right. Turn to Genesis, the 19th chapter. Apologize, I don't have my notes. It's on my phone. I can't find my phone. If I don't find my phone at church, then I will really be walking around like a chicken with his head cut off. Turn to Genesis, the 19th chapter. Where did I see this? Somebody was talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. I guess it was in Ezekiel. All right, Genesis, the 19th chapter. Are someone recently talking about? I know I heard somewhere. See, I'm getting old, y'all. We talked about Sodom and Gomorrah. And you remember the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah. And you remember, if you go back, there was this, the guy got tired, the wickedness was crying out to him. And he sent angels to inspect. I don't believe that. but anyway. So he sent angels to inspect, and there was an angel's first encounter and had an interaction with Abraham. And Abraham, he said, they share with Abraham their plans, and Abraham begins trying to intercede for the people. If you can find 50, if you can find 45, 40, 30, 20, 10, will you spare the town? And God said, no. I mean, yes, I will. I can find 10. Couldn't find 10 because he destroyed the house. He said he couldn't find 10. But the angels went to Sodom and Gomorrah. They encountered Lot, and Lot did not want them to stay in the square. He said, no, don't stay here. Please don't stay here. Come with me. And you remember what happened there? And ultimately, eventually, they convinced Lot and his family to leave. And as Lot was leaving, he told him, basically, we used to sing this song in church, run, don't look back. I don't know if that came from Sodom and Gomorrah, that's it. Go and don't look back. Lot's wife turned back and turned into a pillar of salt. And then, as we look at the 19th chapter, they go and settle someplace. Lot's daughters, because they were married at the time, and Lot and the angels tried to convince Lot's daughters, Lot's son-in-laws, to leave. They want to leave. Man, you pretty burns down. We love Sodom. Sodom is bomb. They don't want to leave. And so, since they didn't leave, the people who didn't leave, they didn't end up too well. Listen, I wasn't there, but I can tell you, when fire and brimstone comes down from heaven and burn the whole city up, that's not a good thing. I'm just saying that right now. I know how we talk about it is right now. Fire and brimstone coming down from heaven, that's hot. That's real hot. So they didn't fare too well. So in the 19th chapter, they come up with this very devious sinister, but this is what happens when you hang around with sinners too much. You come up with these crazy ideas. Basically, let's get our dad drunk. So drunk that he doesn't know what's going on. I don't know what's up, doesn't know what's down. And let's know him in a biblical way. And so the oldest daughter went and knew her father in a biblical way. And if you look at the 19th chapter, verse 37, she became pregnant and she bare a son, and the son was called Moab. And then if you you look at verse 38, the younger son's sister did the same thing. She became impregnated, and she had a son, and she called the son Benjamin, and he became the father of Ammon, or he became the Ammonites. So Lot was Abraham's nephew, which meant he was Jacob's cousin. Jacob gave birth to a son by the name of Esau. I'm sorry, he was Isaac's cousin. He was Isaac's cousin, because Isaac was Abraham's son. Isaac gave birth to Jacob and Esau. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So Jacob, who became Israel, and he became the father, his 12 sons became head of the 12 tribes of Israel. It's 13, but we won't go into tonight. And so then that meant that Lot's children, through an incestuous relationship, was second cousins to Jacob. So basically, they were cousins. These nations were cousins. They were cousins. So let's turn back. They were, as I said, kinfolk. They were related. So let's turn back to Ezekiel chapter 25. Because we'll see something. Don't you sometimes, doesn't it seem like sometimes you have the hardest problem with folks you related to? And that's, I mean, the hardest time with people you're related to. Sister Becky, I will tell you, there are so many times, I think, because I have 3 kids, so many times I'm thankful that I'm an only child. Sometimes these kids fight about things, Sister Seabird, and I'm like, what in the world? I lose it. I don't have the patience that my wife does when that happens. He's looking at me, he said this, he said that. If y'all don't shut up, we are looking at you. I'm looking at all of you. Be quiet, what's wrong with you? But they get mad, and their tolerance, their friends can call them the worst ugly looking dog with stank breath and ugly hair a brother, she's a younger brother, he's like 4 years younger than her. And so sometimes I have to kind of educate her on the difference between men and women, because she, my brother and I are close. I said, your brother would be offended if you said that, if you heard you say that. What makes you say that? Well, we don't talk. I said, what are you talking about? Well, we talk like, maybe once a month. I go, once a month? Man, that's a lot of talking. What are you talking about? From a man's perspective? Once a month? I mean, I got good friends I talk to twice a year. That's my boy. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? That's my boy there. I talk to him twice a year. His birthday, my birthday, that's it. What's going on? I mean, come on. My good friend, Judge Anthony Marcelli, we had a friend, a judge guy. I had talked to the guy since I talked to him since June. Good friend. Vacation with him together. Really good friend. We talked about all these different things. I hadn't talked to him since June. And he called me last week as a judge guy, and he just said, I just wanted to touch base with you, because, Dad makes you think about your friends all the time. I said, you're still my friend, you're still my boy, yeah, we're close. I talked to you 2 months. I said, that's hard. But that's one of the things I realized. But sometimes family has a way of pushing the right buttons, getting underneath your skin, glowing when things go wrong for you. And this is what happened. We see here. The Ammonites were second cousins. They were cousins. They were related to the people of Israel. And in the 25th chapter, we see God has a message from the Ammonites. You read verse 2. Read verse 3. Verse 4. What's happening in these verses? What's happening? What's happening? Oh my goodness. Here's what he's saying. You laugh when your cousins were going through a very challenging time. Their city was being destroyed. Their wall was being destroyed. Their country was being destroyed. You stood on the sideline as their neighbors and you laughed at them. And you gloated at their suffering. You gloated at their destruction. You gloated at their demise. God saying, I'm going to judge you because of what you've done. Because you gloated when my people were being destroyed. Let's go down to verse 8. Then he has a prophecy against Moab. Remember, we look. Moab also second cousins to Jacob. All right? Moab, verse 8. Verse 9. Baal Meon, and Kiriathaim. Verse 10. Verse 11. Once again, here's God pronouncing through Ezekiel, I am going to punish you. I will execute my judgment against you. Because when my people were going through, you called them and you said they're heathen, being destroyed like heathen, and you stood on the sideline as their cousins and you watched them suffer and didn't help and instead talked about them. You experience my judgment. And then in verse 12, he talks about Edom. Anybody know where the Edomites come from? That's right, those are Esau's descendants. Esau was Jacob's twin brother. Let's read verse 12. Verse 13. All right, here's a little message I'm going to throw in here. Because this kind of speaks to me. All right. So, those of you who know, this talks about it to some degree. The Edomites always held a grudge against the children of Israel. I mean, from the inception, they held a grudge against them. When the children of Israel were leaving Egypt, they had their exodus from Egypt, and they were headed to the Promised Land. One of the first sets of people that they encountered were the Edomites, and the Moabites, and the Ammonites. And they asked them, because God told them, hey, can you let us just walk through, because it'd be a lot easier for us. Because we got to get to that land over there. God's given us this land over here. So, rather than us walking all the way around, can you let us just cut through? And by the way, we're going to stay right on the main highway. If we come off the main highway, if we damage anything, if we take any of your resources, anything, we'll pay you for it. But we just want to go straight ahead. Can you let us do that? Cuz, can you let us do that? Cousin, please. And the Bible says, Edomites said, their response wasn't, no, their response was, let's get ready to battle. And so the children of Israel were like, oh, you want to fight? Okay, let's fight. We ready. God just delivered us from the powerful Egyptians. You want to fight? Let's fight. And God said, don't fight. Don't fight. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go around. That's fine. Go around. I don't want you to fight the Edomites. Because you're related to them. Don't fight. But the Edomites, they never got over it. Now, many of you who know from Sunday school and from reading the Bible, you know why there could be this resentment between Esau and Jacob. Why could there be this resentment between Esau and Jacob? Jacob stole his birthright. Right? Jacob stole his birthright. Right. I'm hesitating. I'm not going to get into that tonight. But Esau, to be complete, it was certainly Esau's tradition said that Esau was supposed to have the birthright. And it was obviously Esau's perspective that Jacob stole his birthright. Now, many of you who really are Bible scholars know that before they were born, God said that the younger would rule the elder. So keep that in mind. Just always keep that in mind. But yes, obviously it was Esau's perspective. He had the birthright. And Jacob took it from him in an exchange. And the blessing that Isaac was going to improperly give to Esau, Jacob deceived his father and got it. There's a lot to that story. We don't have time to get into it tonight. But if you remember, when Esau found out about it, Esau was angry, and Esau said, I'm going to kill it. Once again, siblings, hey, if somebody else had done it, I forgive him. My brother, I'm going to kill that boy. As soon as my dad died, I'm going to kill him. And it just so happens, Mama heard her. And Mama liked Jacob. Jacob was her favorite. She played favorite. Parents, we try not to play favorite. Sometimes you can't help it. Amen? And so she told Jacob, we know grandparents can't help it. She told Jacob, leave. And for 20 years, Jacob left and lived with his uncle in a foreign land. And after 20 years, he returned because God told him to go back home. And when he went back home, the Bible tells us, as he sent messengers to go back home, Esau came to greet him. And the messengers went and told Jacob, Esau's coming to meet you. And he got men with him. And when Jacob heard this, Jacob got scared. Because Jacob knew that man going to kill me. He said he's going to kill me. He's going to get me. Make a long story short, when Esau saw Jacob, Esau was like, brother, it's all forgiven. Don't worry about it. God has blessed me. I'm so happy to see you. I love you. I want to help you come back home. Basically, all is forgiven. And what was that message to me is, how many times, in other words, Esau and Jacob had patched things up. Esau had moved on. Esau had forgiven his brother and was ready to move forward. But the family members couldn't let it go. How many times do we hold somebody else's blood? I don't give them. I'm moving forward. I think about what happened to me in the church. When I tell you I got hurt by the church, they didn't hurt me. They hurt my father. My dad had moved forward. I wanted the blood that he So the Edomites, so in chapters 25 through 32, we see Ezekiel being given a message from God to 7 nations. Ammon, Moab, Edom, Philistia, Tyre. He then talks about Egypt. Tyre for several chapters and Egypt for several chapters. And one of the reasons why he has several chapters focused on Egypt is because the children of Israel relied upon Egypt. And he has something about that one too. So that happens in those chapters. And then starting in the 33rd chapter, remember he talks about the destruction of Jerusalem, the destruction of Judah, the destruction of the neighboring lands. And then in the 33rd chapter, just as we saw in Jeremiah, God gives Ezekiel a message of hope. He finishes his book with a message of hope for his people. And in chapter 33, he talks about restoring the people of God. And he tells Ezekiel that there needs to be a watchman, and I'm going to restore my people. And in the 34th chapter, God compares his people, Israel, to a flock. And this is what we're going to look at for a few moments tonight before we let you go. Israel to a flock. The first 10 verses, God's message is to shepherds. It is to these spiritual leaders. And God has a very condemning message to them about how they were more focused on themselves than the sheep God entrusted them to. Very powerful message for people like me and other people in spiritual leadership. Like, man, God is talking to us. We were more focused on us than caring for their flock. But in chapter 34, verse 11, now this is a message I want to leave you with this evening. Those of you who realize you are God's sheep, there's something special about being God's sheep. Oh, I forgot to give you this one scripture, because I don't know, but we were talking about how God was punishing the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Edomites for their gloating when he was destroying the people. Write the scripture down, Proverbs, the 24th chapter, verse 17, where God talks about when your enemies, basically when things go poorly for your enemies, so when God is struggling, is attacking your enemies, don't gloat. Don't rejoice when your enemies suffer. Part of that forgiveness, when you forgive that person for hurting you, when God actually executes judgment as your protector, don't gloat when your enemies suffer. Don't rejoice. Don't do that. So Proverbs 24, 17 and 18. Write that down. Read that, please. Study that. I forgot to give you that. But the 34th chapter, God is talking to not just the shepherds, but he's talking to the sheep. We, as children of God, are God's sheep. You gotta understand, and God is letting them know that regardless of your shepherd, I will always be the shepherd to my sheep. God always serves as a father figure to his children, and we are God's children. Isn't it great to know that you are a child of God? No matter what relationship you have with your dad, no matter what relationship you have with other people, it's great to know you are a child of God. One of the reasons why it's so good for children to have father figures is because they get an appreciation of the fatherly characteristic of God by looking at their father. Now, my father played a very different role in the household than I do, because my dad was a school teacher. So my dad was home a lot of times when I was home. So he was there a lot. Trust me, I knew he was there all the time. And Ellis has a situation. I think my wife is, I told you my wife is going to probably be visiting her father a lot more. So, I think she's going there this weekend. I'm going out of town with Webb this weekend. So Ellis, I don't know if he knows it yet or it's really sunk in, he's going to be at home alone for periods of time. That rarely happened to me. And you know, God knew what he was doing, because I was home alone, it in a bad situation. Plus I had nosy neighbors. Very nosy neighbors. He brought sunset. They were inside the house. What you looking at what I'm doing for? Very nosy neighbors. But so my upbringing, my dad was always around, and I became accustomed to that. And my dad, I always laughed because my dad, 5 feet 7 inches tall. 5 feet 7. I mean, I'm 5'9", I'm not tall. My dad's 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he was more athletically built when I was growing up than he is now. Y'all get what I mean? Not as as portly, what you're saying. Not as full figure. But nobody ever messed with my little short dad. If I got in trouble, I always do. If I tell Dad about Dad, nobody messed with my dad. No, I mean, it was just the most baffling thing. Nobody messed with my dad. I mean, wait, let me tell you something. I mean, everybody, let me tell you something. You better stop right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even at school, football player, nobody messed. So I always felt safe and protected when my dad was home. We had no guns in that when we had a gun, but we had no bullets, so I don't know what else I was going to do. But we felt safe with Amazon. One time when I was in college in Archie, someone, I think, broke into the house. And so my mom, I guess, trying to send some message, said, "You want me to get the gun?" I don't know what she said that for. The gun had no bullets. What no bullets going to do? You want to throw the gun at him? I don't know. But one of the things I realized is I always felt safe. I always felt protected when my father was around. And God wants you to know that as your children, He serves as your Father. And He's always there with you. And you can always feel protected. You can always feel safe. You can always trust in the fact that your Heavenly Father is watching you. And He's there as your protector no matter what you're going through. Verse 11, 34th chapter. That's His message. You are my sheep. I am your shepherd. And I want you to know something. Let's read verse 11. What I read is one image of God saying, no matter where my sheep are, I'm your shepherd and I'm searching for you. I'm seeking you out. I'm seeking to bring you under my protection. I'm seeking to make sure everything is all right. I'm seeking to guard you. I'm seeking to make sure things go well with you. I am your shepherd. No matter there's no place you can go where you will escape my watchful, loving eye. Even if you suffer, even if I'm punishing you, you're still my sheep and I'm looking out for you. Sometimes, I don't know, there's times when you feel, God, you're not hearing my prayer. God, you're not responding. God, you see what I'm going through. God wants you to know, you are my sheep and I'm your shepherd. You will never be a place where I will search for you. I will search for my sheep. Verse 12. No matter where the sheep go, no matter where they are scattered, no matter where unfortunate situations and circumstances of life takes you, God saying, I will go and seek my sheep out. Verse 13. Verse 14. Verse 15. Verse 16. As you leave and go to your respective homes, your respective jobs, your respective communities, your respective families, I want you to be encouraged with the fact that God is saying there is no place you will go where I won't be with you, where I won't search you out, where I won't protect you, where I will provide what you need, where I will bring you back safely. This is God's message to His sheep. And He's bringing this message to those people who've been exiled in Babylon to let you know, even in the midst of your exile, I am your God and your shepherd, and I will bring you back, and I will watch and search out for you. And so there are times, as I get ready to close, where the devil will make you confused and believe that your Father, your shepherd, the Lord who loves you, has abandoned you. You gotta let him know, not so. My God said He will search for me, no matter what's going on in my situation, because He's a great shepherd. And then we know in the New Testament talks about how Christ is the good shepherd who gave his life for the sheep. So be encouraged with that. When you go to work tomorrow, when you wake up tomorrow, first of all, give your shepherd praise. I praise what a great shepherd I have. God, thank you for loving me, for searching for me, for protecting me, for providing for me, for being with me. And you go, I know that you are with me every step of the day. And you can talk to him and consult with him. Amen? Amen. Thank God for our bishop. Let's say amen. See that? All we have, we thank God for you. In your hands, do you have anything, Bishop? We were talking about shepherds, not Donald Shepherd, not Sam Shepherd.
Shepherds were feeding themselves and not feeding the flock. That happens in love. We have to think in terms of others. The shepherd. He said, Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. And the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. Amen? Amen. In this world where we're selfish, we must make sure that the shepherds feed the flock. I think you did a pretty good job. Did you not? Yeah. God keep you so you will not be your Sunday, correct? God bless all of you. Glad to have you here tonight. May the Lord bless all of you. Back in your hands, sir.
No, I will be here Sunday. I know some of probably went, man, I'll be here Sunday. The boys will be here Sunday. Me, Evan, Ellis will be here Sunday. The girls are leaving. And hopefully to come back, but they are leaving. So pray for us. Pray for us. Amen. Let's prepare to give tonight. If you would please, let's prepare to give an offering unto the Lord. If you'll bring your offerings up, we certainly will appreciate that. Blessed be the name of the Lord.